All right, let's start. Denver. I don't know. They must have been sandbagging the media in Denver. Here's Sean Payton putting out the depth chart for the first preseason game and gotten Bo Nix third on the depth chart. Never made a mention that Bo was going to play. Bo played. Bo played really well. Bo Nix went 15 for 21 for 125 yards and a touchdown. Zach Wilson came off the bench, the third-string quarterback. He threw for 117. Bo Nix made no mistakes. I read what they wrote this morning. They really praised the kid's accuracy. They really praised Bo Nix's composure. Of course, you spend 7 years in college. I guess you'd get some experience under the belt. So that's the big story there. That to me, looks like you got yourself the quarterback. In Minnesota, they started Sam Darnold at quarterback. He was adequate. And then they went to J.J. McCarthy, the rookie from Michigan. And all he did was throw for 188 and 2 touchdowns in the Vikings come-from-behind win over the Raiders. J.J. McCarthy, he was pretty impressive. Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams did not play Hall of Fame game, did play this weekend. They blitzed his brains out. He broke containment, moved the pocket, was really accurate throwing down the field. They really like what they saw from Caleb Williams in Chicago. Wound up with 93 passing and I think 13 or 14 yards running the football, moving the pocket. That was impressive. Washington, Jaden Daniels, the kid out of LSU, he was a second pick in the draft. He only played one possession, but he did a lot of cool things. He audibleized out of some alignments that he didn't like what he saw at the line of scrimmage. He threw for 45 yards. He also ran for another first down in one series for the Washington Commanders. That was pretty impressive. In Atlanta, they didn't play Kirk Cousins. They played Michael Penix a lot. He threw for 104. And he was a little bit erratic. They were blitzing his brains out. He wasn't panicked. He was moving the pocket. His accuracy went away. But Atlanta was pleased with what they got from the Washington Huskies quarterback, Michael Penix. In Pittsburgh, it wasn't a quarterback issue. Now, there was no Russell Wilson because of the calf problem. They did start the ex-Bear Justin Fields, and I think he went 6 for 7 for 57 yards, but he had a lot of pressure. And Pittsburgh's offensive line didn't play well, and there were 4 fumbles. A couple of them were fumbled snaps. The look on Mike Tomlin's face in the first half of his offensive line, he wasn't real happy. But Fields was pretty doggone competitive for the Steelers. New Orleans, we talked about this last week. This is quite a story. We're talking about the Fresno State young quarterback, Jake Haener. He underwent cancer surgery, skin cancer surgery last week.
Really?
For skin cancer on his face. He had 32 stitches. He played in the game this weekend for the New Orleans Saints. He threw for 107 with 32 stitches across his face because of the skin cancer procedure.
Wow.
So that's quite an interesting story. New England, you got to explain this one for me. I don't understand what's going on up there. They spent that high number 1 pick on Drake May of North Carolina. They played Bailey Zappi, third-string quarterback the last couple years. Mm-hmm. He took the bulk of the snaps. And most people don't expect him to make the roster. Why would you not give Drake May more than 1 series? Drake May threw 3 passes in 1 possession and then sat. That makes no sense. You're paying a third-round draft pick beaucoup bucks. You got to get him ready. You get him ready in preseason. Now, I don't know. They say Jacoby Brissett, the journeyman, is going to be starting quarterback, but in an exhibition game, why wouldn't you play Drake May more? So that's an interesting story. And then what happened with the Rams? The Rams beat the Cowboys. I don't know if you saw this, John. On the final play of the game, the Rams beat the Cowboys with a quarterback that didn't play last year. Remember Stetson Bennett, University of Georgia?
Yeah.
Came to camp. He won 2 national titles with Georgia. Came to camp, played pretty well, left the team, mental health issues, sat out all year. Stetson Bennett came back to camp, has played pretty well in camp. He played a chunk of that Rams-Cowboys game. He threw for 244, moved the pocket, looked like Patrick Mahomes at times, running and throwing sidearm and all that. But he threw a game-winning touchdown pass on the final play of the game, and he was very impressive. Oh, by the way, he did throw 4 interceptions. He was putting the ball in places that, whoa, you shouldn't put the ball there. But it's a preseason game, and he's a rookie. But, boy, he showed no fear, standing in the pocket and making plays and having to scramble, making the right decision. So I think, the arrow is kind of pointed up there. By the way, the other quarterback he went against, Cowboys-Rams was Trey Lance. Remember, former Green Bay Packer quarterback?
No, 49er.
49ers, highly regarded. Anyhow, Trey Lance, he threw for 232 all-purpose yards, run and throws. He acquitted himself pretty well. And in Dallas today, they're talking about the potential. Maybe he's going to be the backup quarterback because he didn't get flustered. And again, he's not a raw rookie. He's got a little bit of maturity, having been in NFL camps now for 2 straight years. But Trey Lance played pretty well. Stetson Bennett outdid him. So those are the storylines around the NFL about quarterbacks. So pick a name, pick a team. We'll talk about it.
Pick a name, pick a team. I caught a decent portion of the Bronco Colts game because I was interchanging that with the Padres as I was going through Sunday. Jason Stidham got the start, but I'll tell you what, he just seemed to throw these little dink passes, little 4 or 5 yard passes, never really went downfield. But you're right. When Bo Nix got in there, man, it was electric. That kid's impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. So that's weekend 1 of NFL preseason games. You want to talk about other football teams? Rams fans, you're invited to be part of this podcast. Jump on board. I was pretty impressed with Stetson Bennett. Okay, let's talk.